So, finally, a new bit of information on the much anticipated Chapter 6 has dropped for Battlefield 5. I say that with a bit of a smile on my face because on the one hand you have players such as myself that are looking forward to the upcoming content, but then on the other hand you have players who either don't care or just want the TTK reversing and the bugs fixing. That being said, hopefully this upcoming chapter can give DICE the opportunity to resolve some of the issues and undo some of the damage created just before the Christmas period. The patch notes for Update 6.0, or just a general post on the updates coming to 6.0, can be found in the description down below if you're looking for a bit of a read. As for the actual information that's included, I'll go through that now. So what's new? We're going to be seeing a new map, Solomon Islands, available on Conquest, Breakthrough, Squad Conquest and Team Deathmatch. New weapons, the Type 11 LMG, the Model 37 shotgun, the M2 carbine, all of which are available through chapter rank rewards. And then with new gadgets you have the lunge mine, the M1A1 bazooka, both of which are once again available through chapter rank rewards. If you haven't yet seen the Solomon Islands trailer, I really suggest that you check it out. It's a vintage DICE trailer, giving you just enough information about the map but keeping it cinematic at the same time. We'll be able to play it on Thursday, I believe. The trailer itself does show you a bit of gameplay, with one of the developers, Drunksy, who's a very, very good player. He used to be a competitive Battlefield player before he started working for DICE, and even he's struggling with the TTK by the looks of things. That being said, the map does look quite fun. It's made by a guy who made Amiens. I think he made Operation Locker, some really good maps for Battlefield in the past. I actually jumped onto the Operation Outbreak community map from Battlefield 4. There's some footage in the background. It gives me that sort of vibe. That kind of, obviously, a jungle feeling, but the infantry focus with the odd tank on the road kind of sneaking around the place. It's fun. I think everyone will really enjoy this, assuming that DICE patch the weapons. I don't care how good a map is, if everyone has a Type 2A, I'm not going to have very much fun. So hopefully DICE do sort that out. If anything, I think Battlefield 5 has trained me well for hardcore in Battlefield 4. So what you see in the background there, briefly, was hardcore. I don't like hardcore in Battlefield. People do. I personally don't really like it, but it did feel kind of fun in BF4 after all of the Battlefield 5 I've been playing. As for fixes coming across the board, there are a few. For the vehicles, for example, there's a bit of a change to the track disabling and a couple of changes on the angles in terms of the critical angle, giving you more of a chance to hit a critical hit on an enemy tank, moving that degree from 10 to 20. And then a fix to the Panzer IV's AT rounds as well, as you only get 4 shells. Now they've changed that so you'll have much more. As for maps and modes, you'll see a couple of changes to Mercury, Operation Underground, Wake Island. Some things, especially with Wake Island, will now see a decreased amount of tanks to improve map balance. Hopefully it will improve the experience across the board in Battlefield, and this is the sort of stuff that they've been doing in every single patch. It's the same thing, a couple of fixes to maps. It's nothing to worry about, just maybe you'll experience a slightly better bit of balance on maps such as Wake Island. The grease gun has received a bit of a change. Now they've made a bit of a tweak to the suppressor audio to better separate it from the experience when firing the weapon unsuppressed. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place here because historically, did suppressors in World War II make the weapon completely silent? No, they didn't. To what extent did they silence them, and to what impact would it have? You know, I'm not a history buff, I couldn't tell you, I don't have the weapon to test. But DICE do know that if you don't have a significantly quieter weapon when using a silencer, people get annoyed, even if it's not historically accurate. So I think they've made some changes to help with that. When it comes to weapon balance, we've seen a little bit of a change. 2 weapons only, the Ross rifle and the Type 99, now have a muzzle velocity upped from 600 to 750. It'll make them slightly better to use. What DICE are planning is a more substantial patch to the weapons with the next update, and this will be to Assault, Medic and Support. They have said in this patch note, thanks for all your feedback on the topic. Clearly they don't feel as if it's enough of an issue to revert the TTK, which is a massive mistake in my opinion. They should never have changed it, but this is the road they've chosen to go down, so expect to see some sort of middle ground, I reckon, between the old TTK and the new TTK in the next major patch for Battlefield. Why it isn't coming with the update in 6.0, I don't know. We'll have to wait for 6.1. Hopefully that won't be in the too distant future. A couple of changes with the UI. Spotted enemies are now no longer represented as arrows on the minimap and do not show the direction, so it's now back to diamond shapes. That's good, we didn't need all that information, it was unfair. An option to modify the strength of snap zoom has now been added for players on console. It's a compromise. I don't think there should be snap zoom in the game at all, but there we go, it's there, and now you can disable it if you personally don't want to use it. And then we've had a couple of changes to mastery assignments, combat roles, things like that. Again, might improve your experience across the game. In terms of stability, online server connectivity improvements that in some rare cases could drop a player from a server 30 seconds after joining it has apparently been fixed. That is it for stability. There's nothing else there really which could improve your stability across the game, which is a shame. The first comment on this Reddit post is, where are the rest of the patch notes? Which I think is a fair comment. There are loads and loads of issues with Battlefield 5, and this is the first major patch. It's Chapter 6, the start of the chapter. Bring us a big patch note document with loads of changes. Clearly they don't have them ready. It's not there. They're not holding things back. It's just not ready. So we have to make do with what we've got. One map so far announced. That's a massive disappointment. I want 4 maps with every chapter because that's what we got with every DLC with Battlefield 4. If that means we only get 4 chapters with Battlefield 5, I'm happy with that. But as it is, things are being stretched out over time. We'll just have to deal with 1 map. There's plenty of content in Battlefield 5. It's just the way it's been delivered has not been very good, in my opinion. It feels like it's being drip-fed, and every bit of content has lost that bang and that explosiveness, that kind of new content feeling that you really get with a DLC pack that was dropped with the previous games in a premium setup. This live service really hasn't had that impact on me. The major things: team balance, cheating, nerfs to some planes on the Pacific, most significantly looking at the fighters with the 2 500-pound bombs that can single out tanks. Tank customization, it is coming, but no mention of anything in particular during this patch note. We haven't got any sort of clarification on that stability issue that many people still suffer with. In terms of issues, you could just take a look at my 100 issues still with Battlefield 5, 100 bugs, 100 glitches, whatever you want to call it. I still found 100 issues pretty easily looking through the game, just playing it for around a week. So there's plenty of stuff for them to focus on. Will they take a look at it? I'm not too sure. I think it's going to take a bit more time before they get their act together and actually start to fix Battlefield 5. That being said, this is a fairly decent patch. It's a small one, but the things in there are quite good. So, what are your thoughts on the update notes? Are you happy with the amount of content we'll be receiving? Were you hoping for something more, or are you just hanging fire and waiting for the content to drop before making a judgment? 1 map isn't enough, the patch notes are very slim. However, I'm holding judgment on Chapter 6 until we start to get into the main part of it. I always knew it was going to be a thin chapter with barely anything in it. It's fixing the game, really. That's my main priority, not content. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching as usual. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, leave a dislike if you didn't. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.